Good day, all, and welcome to the Men of F.E.A.S.T. Today, we're going to be discussing a DBT mindfulness skill, balancing doing mind and being mind. In everyday life, wise living requires us to balance working to achieve goals with, at the very same time, letting go of attachment to achieving goals. You may ask, how and why does this apply to me? Wise living may be fine for people who are not otherwise occupied, but I have a child that I'm trying to nourish. Here's how this applies to you. Nutritional rehabilitation of your loved one and skill building for both you and your loved one are likely cornerstones of your eating disorder treatment. So wise living is a balancing procedure between doing mind and being mind. Doing mind focuses on achieving goals. It's necessary for getting work done and for planning. Being mind focuses on experiencing, and it's necessary for appreciating life by being present in the moment. Finding the synthesis of both the emotional and rational within ourselves, otherwise known as practicing and living in wise mind, will best support our effective efforts to guide our loved one into full recovery, while not impeding our progress or making us stumble repeatedly on this long, arduous journey. It allows us to be fully present one meal at a time, letting go of the attachment to the goal, full recovery. Now, I didn't say letting go of the goal. I said letting go of the attachment to the goal. It's that attachment, the desire to have things other than as they currently are right now, that keeps us in this soul-sapping struggle with reality, expending valuable energy and burning us out. Accepting things as they are right now allows us to step back and problem solve more effectively, working to improve the situation for the future. We have what may be known as an internal discrepancy monitor, even though you likely have not called it that. By use, you know the function of this process or this equipment. Let's take a look at this hardwired internal discrepancy monitor and how it works. First, we create an idea of how we want things to be for our loved one. Second, we compare that idea of how things are with how we would like them to be. Third, if there's a difference between how things are and how we want them to be, then we generate thoughts and actions to try to close that gap. Fourth, we monitor progress to see whether or not the gap is increasing or decreasing, and we adjust our actions accordingly. Last, we know we've reached our goal when the idea that we have of how things should be reflects reality. Now, this approach works brilliantly as a general strategy for solving problems and achieving goals in the impersonal external world, whether those goals be as humble as buying all the items on our weekly shopping list or building a project that is quite complicated. It's natural then that we turn to this type of doing mode when things are not as we would like them to be in our personal internal worlds, our feelings and our thoughts, or those of our loved ones. But this is where things may not go all that well with this particular doing mode. In doing mode, we can lose sight of the value of this moment when we look at the present and the past in terms of how close or how far we are from some future goal. This can become relentless comparing of where we are or where our loved ones are with where we want to be or where we want our loved ones to be. This is often reflected in workaholism, perfectionism, addiction, or driven doing. Our continued dwelling on how our loved one is not how we need them to be just makes us feel worse, sucking our energy, perseverance, and our confidence. Now, it's understood that we can't realistically go through life completely blissed out, keeping all our chakras in perfect order. But a balance between doing mind and being mind needs to be sought in order to increase our effectiveness. And that's what this is all about. increasing our effectiveness to help support and guide our loved one into full recovery. I'd like to refer to an image that looks at the difference between a mind that's full and a mind that's being mindful, or a person that's being mindful. I don't use this image as an indictment of how adults are occupied with tasks, deliverables, and deadlines, and our loved ones can be more in the moment. Do notice, however, that the child is not having an idealized thought about the moment. They're simply in that actual moment. The child sees the sun setting over the hills, and that's what she's being mindful of. What I do use this image for is to illustrate a role reversal that I want you to be cognizant of, especially in terms of eating disorder treatment. Yes, we as caregivers have tasks to accomplish, calorie goals to meet, meal time limits, target weight ranges, etc. But a sole focus on tasks we come to understand produces diminishing returns if we don't effectively validate, understand the communications inherent in emotion, and learn to live in the moment when needed. So in caregiving, we will see our loved ones with their mind full of fear, anxiety, anger, frustration, loneliness. By being mindful when their minds are full, we become the calm amidst the storm, the proverbial lighthouse on the shore, effectively balancing doing and being mind in those moments to help guide them to full recovery.